Hello and welcome to another Pauper video and to another episode of Pauper Metacall. This time with this Jeskai Ephemerate that made top 4, I guess, on a Pauper challenge just recently. And it's running Bending at the Skin to ramp some mana and Ethereal Haze. And you can see that this card do not prevent only combat damage, but all damage that will be dealt by creatures. So Glitter Snipe and Jeskai Ephemerate and those kinds of creatures dealing damage by direct damage and no combat damage. This card is also good against them because your opponent just cast the Glitter Snipe, you can't counter and you cannot remove. But before the Glitter Snipe enters, you just cast this card and Glitter Snipe is not gonna deal damage to you. It's nice. And also Goliath Paladin, it's a Avenging Hunter for the white mana, and also has Vigilance is a 3/6, which is nice, while some Terror, while some Gourmet Anglers and that kind of stuff. They own the Avenging Hunter itself, and it's also a 5 mana card. It's a nice card, and you have to notice that this deck is running quite less removal, in my opinion, that the usual Ephemerate lists like to run. Like this only runs the 4 squads, 1 Fanged Flames to answer Snackers, and the Guardian of the Guild Pact, and also Rider's End that also answers the Snackers. But not only, but 2 Breath Weapons on the main deck, and also 1 Breath Weapon on the sideboard that I'm running instead. Fiery Cannonade, because I cannot rent the 3rd copy of Breath Weapon and also Pyroblast and also Dust to Dust, the Scrads and cards that I don't have Ephemerate. So I just run the Fiery Cannonade, but you must run the 3rd copy of Breath Weapon. So this deck is a pretty staple deck besides those different cards right here. And Ventus Water Skin's it's been used like not a long time ago, but just recently in those Ephemerate lists, in those control decks anyway. And also only once I've been shown. I don't know if I agree with that because this deck needs the graveyard, so you cannot run. Like you can run, but it would be like a wombo combo with the Relic of Progenitus. Between the Relic of Progenitus, that's a nice graveyard and Archaeomancer loop, because this deck wants to loop Archaeomancer with Ephemerate and also Muldrifter, but Muldrifter and Ephemerate does not deal with the graveyard, but Archaeomancer does. It's a pretty stock list of Ephemerate besides some different cards. On to loop, Ephemerate with the Archaeomancer and more Drifters, draw a lot of cards, smash your opponent with card advantage. Also, Augur of Bolas. And you can have some counter magic, you have some removal, you have some contributes. And this is a pretty, you have the Lord Reveals also. Murmuring Music is also a finisher. In the sideboard, you just have all the Hydros, the Pyros, the 3rd Breath Weapon, obviously, Dust to Dust, and another finisher, like a finisher in initiative, putting the emblem on the board and just trying to gain an advantage and trying to end the game with the emblem. And this is the list. This deck's really fun. I like control decks. Obviously, you run only snow covered lands, basic lands, and also the dual lands that can be that are searchable with the Lord Reveal, and also the Jeskai fetch land. Then you're gonna be fetching only the basic lands that are all is no covered land. So this is a pretty nice deck, a pretty fun deck. I like control decks. I'm gonna be linking the original list on the description and in the comments. And if you like the channel, please subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a deck suggestion, and let's go to the gameplay. Okay, the first match, opponent moving to 5 and we moving to 6. Opponent is playing some kind of ramp deck. put the ethereal rays to the bottom and we kept the counter spell. We have the counter spell open. We have all of our mana colors. We have the mountain and we can search for the plains with this landscape. We found the plains anyway, but opponent is doing nothing. I believe this is a ramp deck that is maybe flooded, I don't know. We can get at least one more land with this Lottery Reveal, but with these 5 lands we can cast the Lottery Reveal, but we're gonna have to discard, so this is not good. We are hitting on land drops. One is trying to. We're gonna counter this because we don't want to lose our lands. Now I think we can cast the Mold Drifter, but it's okay. It's not bad. I should have Lottery Reveal and find a island. I guess this was a mistake. Opponent now is trying to. I I'm fine with this. Now I counter again. Opponent has only one card in hand. I just decided to get my land, and now I cast the Mold Drifter, I guess. Yeah. Draw 2 cards. Found another land. It's fine. Archaeomancer to get back the counter spell is good. This is bad. Wanna resolve a Mold Drifter also bad. Now we are in a strange position here, but I believe we can Mystic and just control the game. But we need to find more. We need to find some scrads. At least one more scrad. One scrad because we haven't found anyone. Avenging Hunter is a problem. This can be really difficult to get out from. Yeah, this is bad. But if we make a token and we counter, we can get an island here. We can Archaeomancer and we're gonna steal the initiative here and we're gonna find a land. We're gonna have Archaeomancer and I don't know why I did this. Maybe I found a scrad. Yeah, we got lucky here. We got lucky because otherwise we could be dead. Because opponent has a lot of trample creatures. Yeah, opponent attacking only with the we can scrad the one and now we can block everything on the Avenging Hunter. If my opponent wants to kill the Mystic, he can. But he have more creatures than him and we have the initiative still. Opponent is gonna cast another Autostorm, another Avenging Hunter. This is bad because my opponent is gonna grow the Mold Drifter. But we're gonna steal the initiative anyway. We're gonna attack with both tokens. We have double breath weapon, not having the red mana for now. Attack with the tree. I don't know why I attack with the tree. In case my opponent has a snap in hand, I guess. That's fine. I'm gonna forge my Mold Drifter. Now I can trade with his Mold Drifter. And I don't know why I did this. I guess I gonna get back this scred. I should have a scred on my turn in case my opponent draw I did on my opponent's upkeep. That was correct. Opponent has another Mold Drifter. We have a Rider's End for this Mold Drifter, but I rather have this Rider's End for something bigger. I can just trade my Mold Drifter for my 4/4 Mold Drifter for his 4/4 Mold Drifter, so it's fine. And opponent did not offer the trade, which means maybe my opponent doesn't want to trade, but I'm gonna offer this trade anyway. I have Augur of Bolas to. I have 2 tokens to block. And we also have Breath Weapon to just clear the board if I want. I get another scred, which is really good. I'm gonna let in review because I don't care about anything else. I just wanna hit more lands and more threats. This is fine. Now I'm gonna offer. I'm gonna double block because I don't wanna lose my initiative, and I don't wanna scred this small drifter. I'm gonna offer my opponent to eat my Archaeomancer because it's going to die to this breath weapon anyway. So I'm just gonna offer this. Opponent just bite. I don't need this Archaeomancer because I have another Archaeomancer in hand. So I'm gonna clear the board. And my opponent just concedes because at this point my opponent is not gonna steal the initiative. He knows I have a scred that I found with this Augur of Bolas. He knows I have more removal in hand. He probably know he just consider that okay, opponent now has the control of the game, he has an initiative, and it's gonna be really painful to quite impossible I should say to get back. So let's go to the game 2. Okay, the sideboard wise was we took out the dispels because they don't have that many instant spells. We took out the brainstorm, double breath weapons. We took out 5 cards. We put in I don't remember. I guess it was the four Pyroblasts and one Goliath Paladin. I guess that was the sideboard. Not I guess, I'm pretty sure. I put the 4 Pyroblasts because opponent plays Mo Drifter and maybe Hydroblast now because we have a lot of blue cards. No, no, my opponent is not gonna have a Hydroblast because we have blue cards from my but because we have removals because we have Scred. We have a breath weapon. Maybe opponent thinks I gonna keep the breath weapons. I don't know. But anyway, maybe opponent like you put 2 top on them, keeping the rider's end and drawing it. Maybe opponent siding in some hydroblasts because we have scrads. It's fine. 2 dual thieves is a kind of pressure, big pressure because we don't have anything else. We're going to ephemerate. We're gonna have to discard here, I believe. Yeah, we're gonna have to discard here. 2 cards. When it run through, it's fine. We're going to discard the Trubin Charm, I guess, and the Goliath Paladin. Yeah, I don't know why I bring the Goliath Paladin. I should have kept the Brainstorm. I have Fanged Flames, which is not a target for Hydroblast because it has the Void. When it has the Sabor Elf, we have a second Pyroblast, which is really bad because now my opponent has no blue cards at all. Pyroblast is nice against the Snap also. General's End is also General's End we can get with the Rider's End. We can take one more hit from this. At least one more hit. You know, you know, one life is not good, but because opponent has run through, but it's fine. Gonna have this Mystic. It's fine because you're gonna have a lot of 1 token to block the General's End, and keep blocking the General's End, and we can just another preordain. Now I'm trying to make sense of this play because we did not have any removal. We could let the Rider's End. Okay, that's fine. I'm not worried about losing lands here. I'm gonna chump block. It's fine. Find another island. Another a lot of bolas. Boarding reviewed. Attacking. We start attacking because now we have a lot of ways of block this General Scent. And we have the Mystic that just walls the Jewel Thief. When is attacking with the Jewel Thief? I'm pretty fine with this. Opponent just concedes. I don't know why my opponent concedes this. Concedes here. I guess he was only wanting to see if I have a removal for this General's End. Maybe because I don't know. Maybe he has a run through in hand, and it will be kind of a problem if he goes on the Murmuring Mystic. If I block with the Murmuring Mystic, and I would block that Dual Chief with my Murmuring Mystic. I don't know why my opponent just conceded. Maybe my opponent has two lands in hand. My opponent still can crack the relic to draw a card. I don't know why he conceded, but I will take anyway. So let's go to the next match. Second match, I guess this was against Mono Black Sack. I think this is a bad matchup because we don't have a way to destroy creatures, also exile them, but just deal damage to them, and those creatures get big very fast. But we have double scred, but we still need double red, so not easy. Opponent has a really bad hand here. Opponent mulligan to something, into oblivion, I guess. Opponent mulligan to nothing. Opponent kept 7, I guess. I guess it was. No, I don't. Yeah, opponent kept 7, but opponent has a pretty bad flood. We just killed the creature. I don't know. My opponent did the not kill, but opponent sacrifice and it's a 2/2. It's fine. Opponent has a with a Heineken growth in his deck. I don't know why. Maybe this is a good card against red decks, but not against a deck that can do like 7, 8 damage to the creature with Scred. It's finally gonna kill the creature. Your opponent is pretty much dead, I guess, because they have another Scred. You just got lucky and got triple Screds. But got triple Scred and counter spell to counter a draw spell. I don't care about this. I just kill the creature. This opponent's pretty flooded. This deck plays 17, sometimes even 16 lands, and opponent found 5 lands, which is pretty much a flood. When it's paying 4, it's not fault. It's fine. I just took this enough out. I'm gonna let my counter spell open, and I need more lands, but sometimes that's why I don't like the Augur of Bolas very much. It is a strong card, but you just send your lands to the bottom of your deck because you cannot grab lands with it. But it's just fine. We have Preordain, find more lands. We have Fanged Flames. I could Fanged Flames this guy. Just have no token in play. But I don't know. I just like to keep another land. The opponent's just really flooded. We are getting lucky here because obviously flood is good for us. Opponent just tries to. I'm gonna dispel this, of course. But now this token is gonna attack me a lot of times. Maybe he had. If now we found this. Every Augur of Bolas next turn we can just bring Mamuri Miski to the table and just end this game. Because we're gonna have a remove with him in counter spell and Ephemerate to a counter and Ephemerate to protect our Murmuring Mystic from a removal. That's fine. Next turn we can go Murmuring Mystic. I'm gonna Breath Weapon here. I don't know why I did this, but it's fine. It's only with a 1/1. Because Breath Weapon after having a Mystic, a Murmuring Mystic on the board is kinda wombo combo because you're gonna lost every single token you have. Maybe this is better. We can still protect our Murmuring Mystic with this counter spell. And also with the Ephemerate. So at this point, if I was my opponent, I was conceding because he can do nothing here. The opponent can do nothing here. We have a counter spell to protect this Mystic, and we cannot gain life with our main deck. I think not even in a sideboard. I believe we're going to Mystic here. Yeah, we tap 2 islands and 2 planes, so we have another Mystic. It's pretty strong. Opponent not gonna block. His opponent's gonna block. He's gonna have a flyer, but that doesn't matter. I'm gonna play another Mystic. The double Mystic is just GG because I have have protection, so opponent doesn't know, but and he's attacking. I don't know why opponent's attacking. It's fine. It's gonna do damage anyway because I'm not gonna activate anything. In my turn, I can attack with everybody or just place the Sacrimancer, and maybe I don't need. I just need to attack and Fanged Flames, one of the tokens. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, now I have two tokens. Opponent have one card in hand. We still have Counterspell and Ephemerate to protect the Mystics. And this is GG, basically. Opponent cannot attack. You're going to Ethereal Haste. I don't know why I did this, but I just want the tokens to accelerate the win here. When blocking one token, fine. Gonna Archaeomancer, getting back the Scred or the Ethereal Haze. I don't know why I did on Ethereal Haze. I have little on board now. I don't know why I just get back the Ethereal Haze. I should have got back the Scred. But anyway, did my opponent just floated pretty hard and we got lucky having triple Scred on the early game, early to mid game. So let's go to the game 2. The sideboard for the game 2. We take out I think nothing. Wait, I take out nothing. Yeah, our sideboard is here. Maybe Tribune Charm. I don't know why I just sided in. I guess I sided nothing. This is my sideboard, right? One Tribune Charm. Tribune Charm is in my main deck. I just took out something onto the main deck to put something from the sideboard. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, I checked, and it was the third copy of Breath Weapon. In this case, the Fire Cannonade that I had on the sideboard. So this is the sideboard. I just took out the Tribune Charm that is pretty bad, and put in the Cannonade that should be a Breath Weapon, same as a Breath Weapon in this matchup. Opponent has a decent. I don't know if this is a correct play, putting Sadistic Glee and on this creature that you want to sacrifice. I think my opponent doesn't know to play the deck. You know exactly. This might be okay because if my opponent losing other creatures, this Chamberlain, this Chamberlain is going to grow, and when he dies, you're gonna create a lot of tokens. But I don't know if this is correct. Just going to now this is bad because the opponent is gonna make a lot of tokens. This was bad. I guess I made a mistake here. I just had my opponent trying to grow them, to grow it, so I described in response. Now I had the same. Okay, we found both double breath weapons, but what we needed here was we discarded only the breath weapon. What we need here is another red source to breath to Scred and Fungity Flames. This Carrion Feeder. At some point, this Carrion Feeder is going to be like 8/8, but even more. Now it is a 5/5. I don't know why my opponent is doing this right now. I think this is just a mistake. Okay, I should have blocked that token to have my Mood Drifter alive to receive this Ephemerate. I did not find a land, and I put two lands on the bottom with this Augur of Bolas. That's why I don't like Augur of Bolas that much. Unfortunately, just send your lands away exactly when you need them. I can block here. I could block and Ephemerate, but I need lands. I wanna found lands. But that's why I'm gonna Geomancer, get back my Lorem Revealed, and cycle to have another island because I need more lands. I can't stay with this. Now I have Ephemerate and no, not Ephemerate, Ephemerate or Scred open, which is fine. Opponent doing something really crazy here. This is really bad. I don't know why my opponent did this. This was crazy. This is really crazy. I don't know why. I guess he wants a 3/3 to attack also, but it's going to Ephemerate here. Now we start the Ephemerate looping. Ephemerate looping, which is broken in my opinion. Gonna Ephemerate, getting back the Ephemerate again. Scred, and now my opponents just lost the game because I can control the game. I have this Ephemerate and the Murmuring Mystic and the Archaeomancer. Even if my opponent kills my Archaeomancer in play, I have another in hand. So when I have double breath weapon that are useless now, essentially because I don't want to lose my Archaeomancers. Okay, we're gonna lose the Augur of Bolas, obviously. This guy's gonna be a 5/5, but we can block an Ephemerate, obviously. If my opponent has a snuff out, it's okay because I could have done this before and just block with the token, but I want to accelerate this win because I know I'm pretty sure win the game here. Not pretty sure this guy can grow this thing and just right of consumption into my face, but now he cannot. So at this point we won the game because opponent can do nothing, and we have the ephemerate loop. Opponent just not do not realize it yet, but we have the ephemerate loop. I'm gonna preordain, counter spell. This is perfect. Opponent just found nothing. There's a link breaker. This game is over. We have the ephemerate loop, like I said. I'm gonna ephemerate again. Opponents could have a removal there, but we are so much ahead that we don't care about that. And now we just have a counter spell and not gonna lose this game. I'm gonna attack everything. I should have a yeah 2 turn clock because now we're gonna kill this creature and just cast a lot of spells and do a bunch of tokens and I'm gonna win the next turn. So this was the second match. Opponent just flooded a little bit on both games, but this opponent just did some questionable plays because I know how to play the Black Sack deck, and I saw a lot of good guys playing the Black Sack deck. But this is not I'm not just saying my opponent played bad, but my opponent just don't have that much experience with the deck. But he did. This matchup can be kind of bad sometimes if my opponent wants to just grow the creatures like so big because we cannot reach the scrads until the late game, and until that is very late. So we still have the Rider's End that get rid of any creature from with any size. But this was the match. Let's go to the final match now. Okay, this is the last match, and I don't remember what my opponent was playing. Let's see. Opponent was mulligan to 6. Oh, I guess this was blue black fairies, or this was Dimir fairies or terror, I believe. I think this was the Dimir terror. Yes, this is Dimir terror because they play like 6 of those dual lands that are swamps. Okay, we took a spell piece which is annoying, but it's fine. We have the Saga of Bolos that is gonna be okay for the Ephemerate at some point. You have a counter spell for a terror, first terror. Opponent's pretty slow on the milling effects. Maybe no, this is not really a problem because we don't have the answer for it. We just have a Rider's End and a copy of each fly of Rider's End and Fanged Flames. Those are our answers to his necklace. His necklace also makes our Moon Drifters like kind of bad to attack, which is unfortunate. Next turn opponent is gonna come with the Paladin Terror, which is annoying because we're gonna counter spell and my opponent is gonna have a counter, most likely. Opponent uses one spell pierce, so it is very unlikely my opponent is running the spell too. Opponent just mills a snuff out, which is nice. We don't want to see snuff outs. Okay, we take 2. We are losing this race, obviously. opponent has no terror or no counter spell to fight. This is the counter spell. I'm gonna counter this. I don't care about a terror on a backswing on my opponent's turn. About the attachment is fine. I'm gonna draw a bunch of cards. I'm evoking. I'm just evoking. Yeah, I was evoking, not. Yeah, this is fine. Opponent just generates a black mana to nothing. I don't know why. This is pretty fine. Now we can race, but my opponent most likely not going to attack with this is Necker anymore, unless my opponent is not fault. Or cast down my Mood Drifter. Okay, cast down, and just pretty. It is a common thing in the opponent has having a cast down. Opponent cast the Tolerant Terror, and now we found our Fanged Flames, which is pretty nice. I just countered this Brainstorm because I think this was wrong because I think I should have um, kept my Dispel to protect this Murmuring Mystic. That's going to win the game if my opponent if he goes unchecked. And Tyrant Terror is gonna attack. I'm gonna block your Ephemerate, maybe? No, we do not block. We have this Brainstorm, and now we have a Shuffle effect, and we have this Mystic with this Brainstorm. Fine, opponent did not found anything. And now we have this Ephemerate which is going to protect, and our opponent is gonna counter. So this is bad. Now we have a problem because we need to find something on this Brainstorm, and we don't. We found the scratch to resolve this Tolerant Terror, but I don't know if this was going to be enough. We are clocking our opponent on the air. We're going to scratch first on our turn. I'm not gonna block. We block this. I think we should not have blocked this. I guess opponent was about to cast something, but just decides against. We're going to play this. We're gonna kill the terror if my opponent doesn't have a counter. So now we just had we just hard cast this Mold Drifter. We have two to hard cast. My opponent is in trouble because now we are winning this race, even if my opponent plays a Tolerant Terror, because I have two nice jump blockers while I have a 2/2 flyer and a counter spell to protect. And also another 2/2 flyers that is gonna be coming down next turn. We can have this. No, opponent found another terror, which is okay. Like I said, I find another island or another island. We're going to attack first with everybody in the air. We still can take a hit from this terror, which is a thing that we have in our favor in the race. Opponent's gonna try to counter this, so no. No, it's gonna fall. It's fine, but I'm gonna protect this Mold Drifter because I'm gonna race. Now I have my opponent dead next turn if he wants to attack with the terror. So this was a game one. I guess this was well played by both players. I had an advantage because I have some removal, and also I answered that Snacker with the Fanged Flames. And I have counter spells, so like counters when I need them. So let's go to the game two. Here on the sideboard wise for the game 2, we took out the Tribune Charm, the Breath Weapons, and also the Preordain. We took out 5 cards. We put the 4 Pyroblasts. No, we just took out 2 Breath Weapons, 1 Preordain, and 1 Tribune Charm. Only the 4 Pyroblasts are sided in because this is the sideboard already. We just took out 4 cards here. So 4 Pyroblasts in because of we're moving to 6 here. We have a Pyroblast, we have a Scrad, we just need more lands. We have a 4 lands, it's reasonable. We have a counter spell to need to find one more island. And we're going to play this island on turn 2, of course, because I want this counter spell. I'm just trying to see. I just made a mistake here. I think I should should have my counter spell open. I don't know why I did this. Okay, now my opponent can have a terror next turn, and we cannot. We can counter it obviously with the Pyroblast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If opponent has the third land, he pays 2 to the Tolerant Terror, and he has a Spell Pierce. What a Hydroblast, yeah, this Blue Elemental Blast. Pretty bad for us. I think we're gonna lose this game. But anyway, I think I should have. If let's pause a little bit here. I think if I should, you can see that the misplay here. Look, if I should search for the, if I had searched for the island, I would have a counter spell. My opponent would not have would need to have a spell pierce or a dispel, because that blue elemental blast would not counter my counter spell, right? So let's say if my opponent has a dispel or a spell pierce, that's fine. In my turn, I'm gonna play the island and just step out Pyroblast this Tolerant Terror. And my opponent don't have, he stepped out. So that's why you just save your Pyroblast when you have no other options to kill a Tolerant Terror. You need more snow lands in me. We are far away, just far away to have 5 lands here. We have the 5 lands, but you need to wait to the turn 5. So it's better to try to counter spell a Tolerant Terror and let your opponent counter and be tapped out, and you use on your turn your Pyroblast to kill the Terror. So this isn't totally on my fault here. This is totally on me. I just misplayed this really hard. Then that's why I think I'm gonna lose this game. It was not well played by my part. I was thinking about just searching for the island and have a counter spell on my turn 2 in my opponent turn 3, but now opponent has another Tolerant Terror. We would have a 16 life now and not dead. And maybe we would have time to scratch this terror, because now I would have 16 life and my opponent is going to attack me for 7, and I would have 9 lives left, 9 life left. So I would have time to play this snow plains, have a counter spell open and my scratch open, okay, to just doing my opponent's upkeep. And we're gonna have to deal with this necker afterwards, but this necker is way less pressure than a tolerant terror is. So misplay on my part. Don't do that. In that situation, I'll always try to have your counter spell, even if you know that your opponent can counter spell back. No, not counter spell, but spell pierce, or just spell you counter spell back and just resolve the tolerant terror, because you have 3 mana. Your opponent is going to be tapped out, and you're going to Pyroblast the Tolerant Terror. That's is basic. So let's go to the game 3. It's okay, game 3, and considering that mistake on game 2, we need uh, we need to have an island here. I think I'm gonna search for the island because I have this counter spell. No, I just search for this this mountain. I don't know why. I'm gonna search for the island here in the step, I think. Because now my opponent is lower because we are on the play and my opponent's on a draw. And my opponent is not having a explosive milling, um, the explosive milling rituals here. And now we have a preordain. You're gonna have no counter spell again. I think this is a mistake in my opinion. I think we should have searched for the opponent mill me. Opponent mill me, not him. It's crazy. Okay, now we have a counter spell. We have a or white mana. Now my opponent is gonna have a Tyrant Terror, I guess. Yeah, we're going to try to counter spell this. Opponent's going to counter spell back. Now we need to find Pyroblast or something. We just not and here we're going to have we're gonna search for our planes because we have this Lord reveal that it can shuffle or brainstorm away. So I guess this was okay. But now I just search for an island. I don't know why I did this. We find the Pyroblast, we are fine. We're gonna kill the Tolerant Terror. That's why we need to fight your opponent on the stack on his turn, forcing your opponent to just tap out to protect his Tolerant Terror, and you kill the the creature, the Tolerant Terror, on your turn. Especially when you have to pay only 3 mana to do that. It's way better. Now we have this Fanged Flames, we have this spell. We're just gonna Fanged Flames this Sneak Snacker. Opponent's gonna try to counter. Yeah, you're gonna spell and this is fine. Opponent still have 4 cards in hand. Maybe opponent has some more lands. Opponent spent 3 counter spells already. This Mystic is gonna resolve, I'm pretty sure. But the problem here is the removal. Opponent is not doing anything. Maybe he's holding like 2 or even 3 removals. You know, maybe Spell Pierce. I should wait here. I think I should wait. We have this counter spell. We can play the Murmuring Mystic with the counter spell backup. And we're going to do that with one of those. And I just played this one because I have one. Opponent's gonna kill it, I guess. Why that's what my opponent has in hand. Only a lot of removal. Maybe your opponent has one more removal here. He's trying to snuff out paying 4. It's fine. I need my opponent to. We have this Rider's End to answer Snack or the Tolerant Terror. This Pyroblast is really fine because let us use this counter spell to protect the Mystic much easier because we can counter Tolerant Terror. Opponent just mill the opponent Sneaker Snacker is fine. We have the Rider's End to exile this Snacker. And I don't know. Opponent is trying to. I don't know. Let me see this. What opponent's milling? Opponent just have 4 counter spells away from the game. Yeah. This means that we can resolve this Mystic pretty sure. I think I'm just trying to find one Dispel to have 2 protections from the Mystic. And I can take a lot of hits from this spell, this Snacker. I'm not worried about this. Let me see something. I just tried to ride us end that Snacker. I just ride us end that Snacker. And my opponent had another one. Yeah, that was what happened. And it's fine. We resolved this Mold Drifter. Now we cannot lose this game anymore, I think. I'm going to resolve this Vendervater Skin. We're gonna counter this, obviously. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna counter spell. Why we gonna... I don't think this was correct. Okay? I don't think this was correct. I think I should have Pyroblast that. Because this counter spell could be a protection for the Murmuring Mystic. This was a mistake. I don't know why I just countered that. But I thought that I don't have more removals in my hand. So this Pyroblast is nice to answer another Tolerant Terror. More easy. So another Mold Drifter with the Ephemerate, right? Let's see here. Yeah, I have a Mold Drifter with the Ephemerate just to draw a lot of cards. I have 2 more lands. Opponent has less than 5 minutes on clock. Opponent was playing kinda slow. I don't care about taking this damage. It's okay. Opponent has 3 cards in hand. It did not find and you're going to try to Ephemerate here. It's fine. You're gonna Augur of Bolas. This is gonna make our race kinda easier. We found another Scred, which is fine. You're gonna Bender's like the skin. You're gonna pass. Now he can deal with this snacker and just race our opponent. I just why my opponent just don't maybe this brainstorm my opponent just found with the tough score because it's completely wrong to tough score first then brainstorm after the tough score if you have both in hand. You're going to kill this obviously opponent. Okay. Opponent just did not wait until we pay the I think my opponent just did not wait until we pay the award had there, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anyway. At this point, the opponent just don't have any brainstorm in hand. If my opponent doesn't have any brainstorm or Lording Reveal, well, Lording Reveal you're gonna counter with this Spiral Blast. Now we have a counter spell to protect the Mystic, and my opponent's not gonna win the game anymore. We still need some draw effects, I guess, or we have a Ephemerate now. No, we don't have. But now our Chaomancer is gonna find Ephemerate. It's gonna get our Ephemerate back from the graveyard. And we pretty much win the game from here. I don't know why I paid that white mana. Yeah, we could just yeah. This is GG, I guess. The Ephemerate is going to start the loop, and now my opponent cannot win anymore. We're just gonna have another counter spell, and now we have double protection for this Mystic. We are clocking our opponent in the air because we have a 3 damage in the air. You would have 5 if opponent tries 2 removals. We're gonna counter the both removals and put 2 creatures on the board. We'll have a 2-turn clock, essentially. We're gonna have 5 in the air and Archaeomancer and Ogre of Bolas. And we also have the Ephemerate to get back more counter spells. So this loop is kind of broken, but it's slow, pretty slow. And this was another episode of Pauper Metacall. So into the next video.